Hi students, we have been seeing direct and indirect speech for the past few days and let's continue that in today's class. Continuation of Rule 3. Future changes to conditional. That is, future verb is will and this will be changing into would in the indirect speech. Look at the example. Direct, she said, I will be in Scotland tomorrow. Indirect, she said that she would be in Scotland the next day. Note the change. Will in direct speech is changing into would in indirect speech. Okay, so this is the rule here. Next point, future continuous changes to conditional continuous. That is, will be disposing will be changing into would be disposing. Here will plus verb in ing form is changing into would plus verb in ing form. Look at the direct sentence. He said, I'll be disposing of the old computer next Tuesday. Indirect sentence. He said that he would be disposing of the old computer the following Tuesday. So here will be disposing is future continuous and would be disposing is conditional continuous. Okay, and notice the other change also. Next Tuesday is changing into the following Tuesday. Okay. Rule 4. Interrogative sentences. We have two types of interrogative sentences. One is WH question and another one is yes or no question. So if it is a WH question, no conjunction is used. Okay, so this point is no conjunction is used if a sentence in direct speech begins with the question word like what, where and when. The question word itself acts as a joining clause. What is joining clause? The connector here. Okay, the connector and the clause which continues that connector is known as joining clause. So the connector will be the same WH word. Listen to this example. Direct speech, where do you live? Asked the boy. Indirect speech, the boy enquired where I lived. Direct speech sentence is a WH question and so the same word where is used as a connector in indirect speech. You is changing into I. Why do we change like this? Listen to the reporting part of direct speech. Asked the boy. Whom did the boy ask? It's not given. So we may assume that the boy asked us. And so we are changing you into I. Okay. So indirect speech sentence is the boy enquired where I lived. Here instead of enquired we can use asked. So the boy asked where I lived is also correct. If a direct speech sentence begins with an auxiliary verb or helping verb, the joining clause should be if or whether. What is helping verb? Auxiliary verb is nothing but a helping verb. Okay, so if our question begins with an auxiliary verb or helping verb, the connector if or whether should be used. Look at the direct speech sentence. She said, will you come for the party? Here, will you come for the party is the question which begins with an auxiliary verb will. Okay, will come is the verb here. And in the reporting part, whom she asked is not given. It's just given as she said. And so we may assume that she asked us. So we can change the pronoun you into I. So the indirect speech sentence is she asked if I would come for the party. You must listen one thing. Will come is the verb here. We are changing it into past form. Would come. The auxiliary verb only should be changed into would form. Okay, the past form. Main verb should not be changed. When we change the auxiliary verb into the other tense, main verb should not be changed. So will come is changing into would come. So the indirect speech sentence is she asked if I would come for the party. Reporting verbs such as said or said to changes to enquired, asked or demanded. Look at the direct speech sentence. He said to me, what are you doing? Here, said to me is changing into asked. So, the indirect speech sentence is, he asked me what I was doing. Okay, said to is changing into asked. Now we shall see rule 5. Changes in modals. While changing direct speech into indirect speech, the modals asked in the sentences change as follows. Can becomes could, may becomes might, must becomes had to or would have to. Okay, so these are the changes we should do when we change a direct speech sentence into indirect speech when we have these modal auxiliary verbs in our sentences. Now let's see these examples. First sentence, direct speech, she said she can dance. Indirect speech, she said that she could dance. Here, can in direct speech is changing into could in indirect speech. Look at the next example. Direct, she said I may buy a computer. Indirect, she said that she might buy a computer. May is changing into might. Then look at the third sentence. Direct, Rama said I must complete the assignment. Indirect sentence, Rama said that he had to complete the assignment. Must is changing into had to. And look at the last example. Direct, she said I should clean the house. Indirect, she said that she should clean the house. Here, should it remains as should itself. Okay, we don't have shall here, we have should, and should is remaining as should itself in the indirect speech sentence also.